Welcome to the Unpackers, the podcast of two boomers exploring the world of trading and investing, aiming for financial freedom and to make their kids proud. Join them on their mission.
Welcome to the Unpackers podcast.
On a path from unprofitability towards profitability, you're gonna waste a lot of money probably.
Were you profitable back then?
I could read the market, I could see what's going on, and I felt confident to take some trades.
I can honestly now relax for a month, not take a trade and not be fussed about it at all.
Welcome to the Unpackers podcast. My name is Bart and I'm a trader on my way to profitability. My goal is to buy my son and myself a ticket to an FC Barcelona game, all paid for by my trading profits.
My name is Eelco, one of the other unpackers, and I'm a data-driven trader. And I'm always looking for the perfect setup. And sometimes I feel like I've cracked the code. But other times, days, I guess my kids putting in some random numbers would be more effective.
My name is Jip Molenaar. Bart and Eelco call me the Gen Z Moonboy, and I'm here to help them to make their families proud.
Yeah, and today we're going to discuss if indeed our families are proud, because this is an episode we're very close to the summer holiday in the Netherlands, and we're going to discuss trading and whatnot, and let's see how we're doing. We're going to visit our crypto shrink, who, let's kick this one off, is, and how I saw it on the Discord, you are blessed and grateful, you wrote. Explain that.
Very much true, very much true. Yeah, the market over the past few months and also over the past week has been very kind to me, trading wise, and also community is growing, members are growing, as in they are really evolving into profitable and sustainable traders themselves, which is making me very happy, of course. And I've been traveling a bunch, family's healthy, relationships are growing with the people around me. So yeah, I do feel very grateful and very blessed.
Yeah, we are grateful actually that you are here in the Netherlands, because he's flying all over the place right now. I remember actually that we interviewed you when you were still the crypto guru.
Yes.
In your condo here in Amsterdam. You were anonymous. It was only an audio. That was 2 years ago, something like that.
I think around 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I guess so.
And we were instructing you as more senior citizens about how to do a podcast. And now almost it's reversed. You know, you guide us how to do streams. What has happened? You know, take me on a Google view, zoom out a little bit. How have the last 2 years gone by?
Yeah, they have flown by, first of all. And I remember the day that you both came to me and asked me for guidance on how to become a profitable trader and investor and whatnot. And I remember that at the time, I was actually also thinking about starting a podcast my own. So it felt like it was like the perfect timing that you guys came up to me, and I was like, let's just do it and let's see how it will go. And now 2 years forward, you guys are close to profitable traders yourself. I dare to say that now.
Let's discuss that later on.
Yeah, we will discuss it later on. But seeing the development and seeing the improvement of the both of you has been very fulfilling to myself as well. And obviously, yeah, I'm doxed. Both of you are doxed. We are creating podcasts now in a great studio over here in Utrecht, the Podcast Garden. And we are creating content and people are enjoying it. And most importantly, us three are enjoying it. We've been going to Dubai with 3 of us,
yeah,
which was a blast. And in the meantime, myself, obviously I've been doxing myself. I've still been improving a lot as a trader as well myself. And last year I had a great trading year, which I didn't think I would be topping this year. But I think if I continue like this for the rest of 2025, I am probably going to top my results of last year. Also because I've been slightly increasing my risk on my trades, up to 3% on each trade. So that is like, making it grow a little quicker, of course. I've still been...
Or not.
Yeah, or decreasing.
It sounds that stupid, but yeah.
No, it's very much true. But since I gathered a lot of data and statistics, more and more on my system and proven the profitability of it to myself, I decided at the beginning of the year to slightly increase the risk on my portfolio, and everything has been going very well so far in 2025. So I really can't complain.
Where do you make most gains in regarding to trading?
Still the trending environments. Even though I would say that trading the ranges is more easy, I do still notice that every single time we get those range breakouts and you do position yourself beforehand, that is where I make the most amount of gains. When markets start trending and you recognize the trend and you don't try to fight the trend, at some point you are going to be wrong. Same with the current trend. At some point the flush is going to happen and you are going to get stopped out. But if you can ride the trend until that flush happens, every single time I just notice that with also the add-ons that you can add margin to your position and tighten your stop loss at the right moments, that's where I still make the most gains. And in the meantime, I just try to trade the range until it then breaks and then try to increase margin and increase my positions up on those breakouts and try to time the breakouts well, which I think I have been doing quite well over the past 1.5 years, where before I was struggling with that because I try not to trade breakouts. But the more you see those ranges, the more that you recognize the kind of price action that takes place before the actual breakout happens, where usually, I would say 90% of the time, the breakout turns out into a deviation, right? And that is what I'm trying to trade. So yeah, but still the trending moves, that is in crypto where the money is to be made in my case.
Let's dive a little bit deeper into that later on.
Mm-hmm.
But first, let me start with a very easy question to my fellow unpacker. Are you, meanwhile, a profitable trader?
No, I'm not.
Elaborate,
I'm still
elaborate
learning,
on where
so-
you are.
Huh?
I mean, elaborate on where you are, and let's take this moment because I think that's also what we discussed. Because we're doing this boomer trading war session, and which you basically gave us a starting capital. We're trading for well, we're now friends, but we're enemies.
In front of the cameras. Yeah.
But of course, you want every time you take us on a little journey in those episodes. But there's so much more to say. That's also why we said, okay, let's take the opportunity in this podcast because we can dive a little bit deeper. You know, to provide us with these comments that basically you're itching to give us that. But for that, Eelco, take us on a journey where you are right now.
It started 2 years ago from zero, I guess. Just a little understanding about the markets, what a Bitcoin was, what it could do, but no experience in trading. So started from zero and learned from tiny steps what the process meant, what it still means, but also from a technical side, how you can analyze the market, like you're saying. And I guess around a year and a half, I thought, well, this is it. I'm here. I learned it all. I can do it. But then you take some trades.
And why? Were you profitable back then?
No, confidence. Confidence because I could read the market. I could see what was going on, and I felt confident to take some trades. But yeah, that was a slight mistake from my side, I guess. Because the first trades were, well, pretty bad. Wouldn't do anything to my balance. Well, except pulling it down. And besides the technical stuff and the trades, it's also like an emotional journey trading itself. And I learned a lot from it in the emotional part.
Also about yourself as an individual outside of trading, or just how you need to handle your emotions while trading?
I guess you kind of have to change as a person to fit in the trading game. You have to learn to anticipate on the markets, but you also have to learn to not jump in at first sight. Take the time, analyze, take a step back, let the trade come to you. So yeah, all that kind of an emotion. And I guess you learn it from a trading side, but it's also effective in your personal life.
I guess I'm trading a lot on a personal account and on the Bright Funded Challenge that we still have.
Right.
And we're gaining much more control in the sense that I've blown quite a few accounts, not with big numbers, but the whole annoyance when something turns red. But still, I don't manage to really flip it to a level where I can really say, okay, I fully control it. I have a system. I am at peace, and it's okay. The market get me there. For example, in the Bright Funded Challenge, And I know your stance about, of course, about
Prop
firms and whatnot.
in general. Yeah.
But okay,
If you trade on a prop firm, then please trade on Bright Funded.
they were a partner, so in that I mean, this is the honest journey
Yeah.
today, right? So
Of course, it's part of trading these days.
we're now at 103 or 104, something like that, on a 100k account. But it used to be 105, and you start to think I'm almost there.
Yeah.
And you've been trading consistently for like a month, and then you're almost there, and then you screw it up, and then I'm getting so pissed off at myself. And that's where really I'm documenting everything except for those 2 fuck up days.
Fuck ups.
And I run it all back to 102, something like that.
Yeah.
That's really
Frustrating.
and I think that's I just want it so badly by now. I think that's really what is blocking me, because you shoot in these trades, and every now and then you're consistent, you're at peace, and then you run up a trade of almost 2k, and you see the green numbers, and of course it's still in the challenge phase, so it's just fake money. But then you start to think, oh, I can do this in real life.
Yeah.
Imagine if I can do this in real life.
Right. Yeah. Right.
I'm almost there, and you see that freedom from a possible job and whatnot. This is really where I'm.
Yeah, and I think Max and I in Vienna last week, we recorded a video on the illusion of control, and it was basically exactly about this, where most people are so focused on the end goal because that gives them like the feeling that they are in control. But actually, especially with trading, what you should be focusing on instead is the process towards that goal, and to make sure that every single time you zoom out and have a look at the bigger picture, and you take the right tiny little steps towards the bigger goal, which in your case is freedom of time, location, money, whatnot. But since everyone is focused on that goal of passing a challenge or receiving a payout or growing your portfolio to a size where 2% a month is enough to cover the bills.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're so focused on that goal, they want it, like you said, so bad that all that they're trying to do is rush the process. And every single time they get a tiny little setback, it starts frustrating you. Because it feels like that goal that sometimes feels so close is still so far away. Where instead, if you just focus on building, improving, and refining your system, and journaling, especially on the days where you don't want to journal, and where you just focus on trying to make the best decision possible every single day when you get behind the charts, which is not possible because even I still fuck up sometimes. It's part of the game. But I do know that if I make the best possible decision over a longer period of time, the probabilities will play out in my favor and I will make profit. And this is also what I've been thinking about a lot lately, because people always ask me the question, how long does it take for me to turn into a profitable trader? And I think I can turn anyone into a profitable trader in a matter of 6 or 12 months. It's possible. But to turn trading into a full-time job, I think realistically you're looking at 3 to 4 years at minimum. Because when you are a profitable trader on a path from unprofitability towards profitability, you're going to blow a few accounts, you're going to waste a lot of money probably. Especially if you don't have the right guidance from the start, you're going to waste even more money. So then you have the journey from unprofitable to a profitable system and making consistent gains every single month, or let's say every single quarter, because there's going to be losing months. In February I had a bad losing month. Right. Even I am in that case doubting myself a little, where I'm like, what the fuck just happened? But then I just go back and I look back at my statistics and I look back at my data, and I know that losing months are part of the game. But the point being is that from unprofitable to profitable, let's say it takes 6 or 12 months and you waste a bunch of money, but then to grow a portfolio towards a size where it can cover your bills by only gaining on average like 4 to 5% a month, that's going to take a lot longer, unless you are from a very wealthy family or unless you start trading with capital from the outside. Then I don't mean prop firms, but I mean just a proper fund, which is also possible. You can start trading for a fund.
Right.
But then it's different, because then you don't have the drawdown limits and whatnot. You have certain rules that you have to stick to, but you just know that you can take a lot longer, and every single time you gain a certain amount of money, you just get paid, But to get from the point of unprofitable to actually trading full time, where many people try to sell it as it takes 1 year, I would say at minimum it takes 3 to 4 years. and you guys are only in closing in on year 3.
Yeah, something
Closing
like
is still, but still, it's situational, right?
Yeah.
I guess some guys have a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, we have families at home.
Mm-hmm.
We have our work, like you call us the boomers,
Yeah.
right? So we do this in our spare time, let's say.
Yeah.
So I guess our journey will take.
Even longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And if you know that, it should, in my opinion, give a lot of peace of mind, which is also going to help with your trading, because you're not going to be so frustrated when you take a loss. You just know that it's part of the process.
But still, if you see the success from other guys,
Yeah.
you sometimes get frustrated because
it is
why
and
not us?
and
Yeah,
you have
right.
less. And no, that's okay. I mean, you have you're less time.
Mm-hmm.
But others have that excuse as well, so it's not really an excuse. But then you have to figure out your,
Mm-hmm.
your system,
right? Yeah.
and then the market left without you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to say to yourself, okay, I can not enter the market right now because that's not according to my system, or I think this is according to my system I'm
Mhm.
sort of developing. And then you also have to be at peace to just let it ride until the
Yeah.
circumstances are there again, which can take a couple of extra days or even week, whatever,
Yeah.
until you're at that point. And that is difficult. That
It is super
pretty
difficult.
difficult.
It is.
I never imagined that doing nothing in this market. It's double. It is extremely difficult to do nothing, and then a whole lot of nothing again.
Mhm.
And it is so important to do nothing. Later on, I'll explain this also my pitfall, but it is so important because I have been there at a certain 105 or on my personal account at a certain number,
Mhm.
and then you think, okay, now it's Friday, I have the time off.
Yeah.
Let's trade.
Yeah.
Then you fuck up and then you run
Yeah.
that number down.
Yeah. Super frustrating.
Oh, it's like you almost are at the top of the mountain, and then you slide back again. I'm really at that moment. That's where I'm in my trading career. Well, we said you would be our shrink, right? So
I think everyone gets until that point, right? Where you feel you are so close to profitability. Maybe you are already a profitable trader. Let's say I would give you an account of 10K, for example, and I would just give you the assignment that you're going to trade on that account for a year. And I want you to, on average, make a consistent gain a month at the end of the year of 3% a month. If you can do that, then at the end of the year, I'm going to give you 100K. Because I obviously speak to you a lot, I record a trading war with you guys. I am 90% convinced that if I give you that assignment, that at the end of the year, you have gained on average 3% a month on that account, left or right. Because you know that if you just gain that realistic target a month, you're going to get a massive reward. Am I right? I think yeah. So that means that either you are already a profitable trader or you're very close to being a profitable trader. But the problem is that you're, I think, so focused on the end goal. And as Eelco was also saying, you see people left or right achieving those kind of goals. Also in the community, we have a bunch of guys like Maurice, for example, who is this month receiving
doing great
21K in payouts from prop firms. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous. The guy is 21 and he's now receiving a multi-5-figure payout this month. And but the fact that he can do it means that you guys can also do it.
of course, there's
he's studying full-time, he's working part-time, he's doing all these things, he's working out a lot, and he still manages to have built a system for himself where he knew that he would give himself a lot of years to work towards that freedom. Because I speak to him every single day in DM. I would say that from all the students that I have, he's like my... I don't know how you would put it in English, but he's like, I really feel like I want to see him succeed. You know, after with all my students, but with Maurice, and he's going to watch this podcast, he's going to be very happy. He's probably going to say a lot of things about it in the community, but I do really, I do really want to see him succeed. So I speak to him every single day. And I think where he is really different from a lot of people is that he is really okay with being in a situation where he is currently at. So he's really completely fine with working /full-time, studying /full-time, and trading /full-time, and then also working out. And he's also very religious, so he also goes to church, etc. But he's extremely fine with that, which is why he actually gave himself, let's say, 4 to 5 years until he wants to trade full time. Now it's just going extremely rapidly. And I feel like that is also just a little bit of energy, but also peace of mind and
Right.
giving yourself that time. It just, you don't have to practice patience anymore because you will already have it. Because you know, like I just said, that you can trade profitably. I just know it for a fact. I can honestly now relax for a month, not take a trade and not be fussed about it at all. Because I know that I only have to take in my head 1 or 2 trades to be...
It's the most frustrating thing I can read or hear from someone.
Yeah, I can imagine
by not taking a trade.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's... I can't comprehend that one.
Yeah.
State of mind.
But it took over 5 years. Now I'm at that point.
I remember that when we did the podcast with Kane, and when we stopped recording, he said, "Yeah, I'm looking in your eyes, and I see the frustration. But it took me like, I'm in this game for 10 years already.
11.
Yeah.
He's in the game 11. I've been speaking about it with Kane as well in Cape Town. I remember where I was like, obviously the numbers that he was doing when we were in Cape Town, it was like a massive difference compared to my numbers, and we were speaking about it as well. And he was like, "Listen, when I was your age, I wasn't even close to doing the numbers that you are doing right now." And to me, that was also a moment, yeah, of course. And he was like, "I'm in this market twice as long, more than twice as long, than you are in this market." But looking at him, it could also make me feel the feeling of, not frustration, but more like, oh man, I wish I was at that level. And now, fast forward 7 months, I'm slowly getting closer and closer and closer to that level. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting closer. So, yeah, I think it's...
You have to sort of fall in love with the process rather than,
exactly.
be frustrated.
Yeah,
on
I
where
feel
you are
like
right
that is the right way to put it. I feel like you just have to fall in love with the process and be happy with all the lessons that you are learning during the process, also maybe about yourself as an individual, and not be too focused on the end goal. The only thing that you should be really... The end goal should also not be to, obviously there should be an end goal, but the goal should not be to quit your job. The goal should be to trade profitably every single quarter, every single year.
Right.
That should be the goal. And slowly deposit every single month a certain amount in your personal capital portfolio and compound the profits over a longer period of time. If you just keep on focusing every single month on that, time flies. We all know that, right? So
true. Yeah.
Fast forward 2 or 3 years from here and do that every single month consistently. It can go really fast.
You forced us to say out loud, and it sounds like stupid like this, but you forced us to say out loud why we take trades.
Mm-hmm.
Describe, why do you take this trade?
Yeah.
And I think that we really have to be honest with ourselves. That are we really, approaching this like a job with the same level of professionalism, doing, and that's what we were lacking, and we're taking these steps really, to document.
Yeah.
Sometimes we were taking trades. But why do you take this trade? Okay, just explain it to me. Not to point fingers at you, but just explain the trade. And I remember that you started, and then while you were explaining what you were doing, it's like, never mind.
I don't know.
Just skip it.
Yeah.
Does it sound recognizable in the process of others?
Yeah, but also if I compare episode 1, where I was sitting down with you guys had to explain your trade to me with a chart, and I compared to episode 6 or 7, I wish we could insert some clips in here, but the difference is massive. Like, it's day and night. If I can see you guys now opening up the chart and explaining to me why you took certain trades, it feels like there's years of difference between episode 1 and episode 7. And that to me is the most important, that there's a lot of improvement to be seen. And that makes me very happy. Like I said, it even convinces me that the both of you can trade profitably. And I wouldn't honestly say that if I didn't think it was true. To this day, live streaming helps me to take better trades. Because I chart all my trades almost on live stream. And when I'm live streaming, I have to explain what I'm doing to the people that are watching.
Yeah, right.
And every now and then still, 5 years in this trading game, I'm live streaming, I'm charting a setup that I was already eyeing before the stream, so I knew I was going to do it. Then I'm explaining it on stream, and then I'm like, I have to wait a little longer. Yeah. Or I don't have to take this trade at all.
Yeah, sure.
It's because, for example, let's say I'm charting that setup on the 1 hour and 4 or 4 hour time frame, and someone is asking me, okay, but Jip, what's the daily looking like? And I open up the daily. I'm like, holy shit, the daily is swing failing potentially. So I need to wait for the daily candle to close above that swing high to not confirm a swing failure, for example. You know, there's and that is also why I'm always asking you guys or other people in the community when they send me setups, like, it looks like a good setup, but do you also see why it's actually a good setup, or does it just look?
It's very annoying once you ask that one.
Yeah, because if you can't explain the setup that you are taking from A till Z, you're taking a shitty setup, in my opinion.
True.
And also, like you said, try to approach it as a business. Try to approach it as a profession. Because at the end of the day, I can confidently say now that I'm, doing this full time and also traveling a lot, that I do feel like the past 6-7 months that I have been living my dream life, which that's also what I was saying. I feel very grateful and I feel very blessed. But if this is like the dream life where you can travel the world, where you do have a lot of freedom of time and location, is it realistic to actually believe that you can achieve that in 3 to 4 years? If lawyers have to study 7 to 8 years, and before they actually start making money, it's probably like 14, 16, that time period. Doctors, they have to study 8 to 10 years until they can really start earning a lot of money. It's probably 15 to 20 years. And the Gen Z, or even the boomers in this case as well, actually, so you guys are making the same mistake. Expect that they can live that dream life and traveling the world and open up their laptop on Bali 1 hour a day, get behind the charts, enter the trade, and then go enjoy life with your wife and kids and whatnot. And they expect to achieve that in a matter of 1 year. So if people ask, how long does it take for me to get profitable when they get into the trading game? Most people on X or on YouTube or in several communities, they would say, yeah, in 1 year I can turn you into a profitable trader. Yeah, they can learn a profitable trading system. But that's not what they're asking. Everyone is asking, when can I quit my job? When can I go do this full time?
Right.
Is 1 year that realistic? I don't think it is, personally. And also looking at the traders around me that I actually know are doing this full time, most of them have been going through periods where, they were thinking about quitting trading. Is this really it? Is this something that fits me well? Everyone goes through these phases. Like I said, even in February, I was like, this doesn't feel right. I had such a bad month, and January was such a good month.
Who do you go to when you are in a phase like that? If at all.
No, yeah. It's just my personality is that I really try to solve my own issues and own problems. And sometimes, just in life in general, I need to also learn that to go to people for help. But I do really feel like, I don't know Kane for that long, but I do feel like that if I would struggle with anything in that sense, or if I just like to talk with someone about trading, then I really like to speak to Kane. Yeah, I do. Because the guy has been through the worst you can imagine.
He walked the walk of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And he has bounced back, And I've seen him trade live, and also the way that he just carries himself is just, to me, he often feels like a big brother. So yeah, if I would have to speak to someone, if I go through a shitty phase with trading, then I would certainly call Kane.
Noted. And in my case, the probabilities, you say that so much, and I literally see that, of course, and I can understand the word English. It's not, but I have difficulty being wrong.
Yeah.
That's the worst sentence that you can say out loud in the trading game, obviously. But this is, again, this is point of wanting it too much, doing it too, that I freeze as well. For these episodes, for these trading war episodes, I rather, I want to do it so perfect that I lose. I see the market leave without me. I think that's, and I was on the button, but I didn't click because, too much doubting, too much. That's not good either. And you just have to get into a system and click buttons, and then let the probabilities play out.
Yeah, I think it's two things. It's ego, which is just, get over it. I almost want to put it that way. Just get over it, And I think, and this is really underrated, is just a lack of data on your system. And this is also what we have been speaking about with Folies, I believe, in Dubai. We were speaking about data, gathering data on your system.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And how important that is. If you don't have any data backing up the profitability or unprofitability of your system, there are no probabilities. You can't even speak about probabilities. It's impossible.
Right.
Because, what data is there to back up the probabilities that we are talking about? I don't know your win rate. Why? Because you have no data on your system. Because you refuse to journal the losing trades. You refuse to link a portfolio tracker to your portfolio. And once you start doing that for 6, 7, 8 months, then we can sit here again and talk about certain probabilities. If your win rate is then 40% and your RR that you are usually targeting is 3, then we know, okay, the system is unprofitable. And then we can go back and look at the losing trades and also the winning trades, by the way, because sometimes you'll have a winning trade, but it's still a shitty setup. And then we can tweak and see what went wrong to try and improve your win rate. If you don't have any data, and especially if you don't have any journaling on your losing trades, but also the winning trades are just as important to journal, we just simply don't know if you're profitable.
Accepted. If I challenge is accepted, I think with.
Actually, with Tribe Capital, we are currently building our own custom journal, which I can grant you access to the beta version.
Let me be your guinea pig in that.
Yeah. We have a bunch of guys that have access and testing it, and it's so far people are really enjoying it, and we're tweaking it, and we want to release it to all Tribe members for free once it's done. So we're developing it in the background. It's really cool, by the way. I'm very proud that we are developing that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So I feel like after this podcast, I actually don't know why I didn't grant you access before, but there's just so much going on. I can give you guys access, and if you guys want to take on the challenge to actually journal every single trade for 6, 7 months, and also link your portfolio to a tracker so that I can check that you don't miss a single trade, then after 6 or 7 months, I'm honestly willing to lock myself in a room with the both of you in Amsterdam, and we just go through every single trade until we're done, even if it takes 24 hours. And there's so much value that we can take from that, but you can only take that value if you journal the trades and gather data. And then we can calculate the win rate, then we can calculate what RR is needed for you to be profitable. And then we can see in the journal what we need to tweak in order to get towards that profitability. And then we can maybe even conclude that you are already profitable. And that should give, as I said, a lot of peace of mind. Because with a track record of 2 years, you can try and maybe get a job somewhere, with trading and actually do it full time. And all that you need is the internet connection. Once again, you need data, you need the tracking.
But let's be honest. Journaling isn't a hobby of any trader.
No.
A question that pops up in my mind. From the beginning, did you journal your trades?
I've fucked up so many times. Yeah.
You journaled from the beginning?
No.
Okay.
No. There's been so many, especially in the early days, I didn't even know what journaling was. Let me be very clear on that. I think first 6 months. I've told my story a couple of times. I was just very fortunate that I got into crypto almost at the peak of bottom of the COVID crash. So I was just very fortunate, which now sounds crazy, that I was able to blow through so much capital without really feeling it. And I was also still living at my parents back then. And I didn't journal for, I think, 6, 7 months. Then I started journaling, and then the journey that you're going through when I had the losing trade, I was like, I'm not gonna journal this one,
right.
or I would quit. And then I remember, I think it was into trading 1 year or so, and it was New Year's Eve. And I remember one day before New Year's Eve, I saw someone on X buying this very fancy Notion journal for like 150 euros, fully customized, whatever. And I was like, I'm also going to buy that, because then I'm going to force myself to journal every single day.
Sure, yeah.
So funny. Everyone has the same journal.
I bought the journal 2 weeks later, never used it ever again. And I remember that a few months ahead, I looked back at that moment. I was like, I made myself a promise, and I broke the promise to myself.
Right.
And I was like, breaking promises to myself is something that I hate doing so much, even if it's like the tiniest little promise to break. And that's when I was okay, if I want to improve, I just need to start journaling. I need to start gathering data. Because I also didn't really know what I was doing back then. Sometimes I had a profitable month, sometimes a profitable week, sometimes I lost a bunch of money again. But I also couldn't really put my finger on it. What exactly was my system? And I was like, okay, in order to know what my system is, but also to know if it's actually profitable what I'm doing or not, I just need to start journaling. And now these days, my journal is just my channel in the tribe. It's really,
easy as that.
I need to share every single trade beforehand anyways. So that makes journaling quite easy. And often I make like videos about trades as well if I want to go in depth.
You're very public journal.
Yeah, I have a very public journal. Yeah, it's as public as it can get.
It's again both sides. I really want it from a perspective that if I don't take this step right now, then I might as well just stop it, because like you say, I cannot really point my finger on what is going well or not.
To put it very blunt, that's true.
And also enjoy it in a way. Just like, combined with these lessons, like being able to say why you're taking a certain trade. I enjoy in a way taking these trades and journaling what went right and what went wrong. And if you take less trades, then it's also less work, less of a challenge.
It is.
Hook us up to the tracker.
You can also try to use it in your advantage. For example, let's say, and once again, it's all about not breaking those small promises to yourself, which I was also just speaking about, which I feel like just in life in general is very important, but as a trader it's even more important because there's no one looking over your shoulder, no one holding you accountable, whatnot. But if you, for example, say to yourself, okay, every single time I take a trade, whether it's a losing or a winning trade, I have to journal that trade first from A till Z until I can take the next trade.
Yeah.
You're already using it in your advantage. Because whether you have a winning trade or you have a losing trade, you guys are still at the point where you do feel some sort of emotion. If you force yourself to journal first before you can take another trade, while journaling, you're going to calm down. You're going to process the emotions while you're at it, Whether it's a winning or losing trade, you're going to feel the emotions anyways. If you take the next trade while feeling any sort of emotion, it's going to cloud your judgment. That's just a fact. So besides the fact that you can try and enjoy journaling, you can also really use it in your advantage in small little ways.
I understand, yeah.
For example, journaling on your phone, it's really difficult, right? You have to really sit down behind your laptop, behind your PC. Which also means that if you're on the road and you hit a winning or losing trade and you feel the urge to hit another trade, you can't. Because journaling on your phone is just, it doesn't really work. So you have to go back home first. May take another couple of hours, It's you're gonna wind down, you're gonna relax, and then you're gonna get back behind the charts and see the charts from a complete different perspective. So maybe that's also a rule. It's up to yourself, of course, to implement that. And then once again, it's all about not breaking certain small promises that you make to yourself, and that is something that I can't do for you guys.
No, you can't. So, and that's what you have to go through all these emotions, before you really are. In my case, fed up with myself.
Yeah.
So normally we ask our guests to bring an object which holds significance to them. In this case, we are reflecting with our crypto shrink, Gen Z Moonboy. What is your object that you brought along?
Yes, of course, my favorite boomer. Let me share with you guys a hat that I brought, actually. I got this hat in February from, obviously, as you guys knew, in January and February, I was in Cape Town for 2 months, and I was just living there, basically. And 4 times a week, I would go to a boxing school and do personal training with a guy called Chris. And I was in Cape Town 2 years before that, so I already knew him a little bit. But doing that 4 times a week, one-on-one with someone, you build a genuine connection. And at the exact same time, me and Kane were running this trading war against each other. And we agreed that 50% of the total account balance, what we ended on, so also the amount of money that we put in, and we both started with $1,000, 50% we would give away to a good cause in Cape Town. And I'm not the biggest fan of the bigger good causes because there's always a lot of people up there that earn a lot of money. So I was like, I just want to get to know someone in Cape Town here that I know that I can trust that is doing something decent with the money. And yeah, these guys, they are keeping people off the streets, and they are just the energy just of people in Cape Town in general. But I brought this object because this hat is something that he gave to me the last day I was in Cape Town. And saying goodbye to those people was kind of emotional, you know. It was crazy because you see those people 4 or 5 times a week, and also his wife who was working at the gym, she got a little bit emotional. And just this hat, I never wear it because I put it on my head. It's too big for it, but it doesn't really look that good. But the hat just reminds me of
symbolic
the freedom that trading is giving me, but also the good that I can do with the money that I'm earning. And to this day, I still help Chris every now and then with buying new equipment for the gym or small things to help him out, because it can be really rough out there for them, especially in winter months when there's not a lot of tourists to help boost the revenue of the boxing school. But they are really doing a good thing. And this hat just reminds me of the freedom of trading and the freedom of time and location, but also the freedom of finances, and that I can try and do well with the money that I'm earning. And I try my hardest to do that every now and then. Obviously, I know that I'm also really enjoying myself by traveling a lot, but this just really reminds me, and I can't wait to go back in January and February and trade from Cape Town and go to training with him 4 to 5 times a week, and see him do well as well. Because I think a couple of weeks ago I was obviously there's this stigma right around trading and investing, and just if I tell people that I trade the financial markets, that I run an online educational platform, you always
you're a scammer.
Yeah. That's a stigma, unfortunately, which is fine, because honestly, as long as I'm happy with myself, I really don't care too much. But I was going for a few drinks with my football team a few weeks ago, and there was this guy who already made a few comments a few times the weeks before that and the months prior to that, and he was asking me with a couple of guys. All of a sudden, he was asking me the question, "What you are doing, Yip, is that making the world a better place?" And I remember that I got pretty defensive about it. I was like, "That's such a stupid question to ask." And looking back at it, there's a reason why I was defensive about it, because obviously, as I said, there's this stigma around it, which really sometimes frustrates me, because I feel like that, like, not even looking at I don't know, donations or good causes whatsoever, just trying to help people to become a full-time trader and live the life that I'm living is making the world a better place. And I was also telling him as a response, I feel like that if I'm really happy, that I can also be a good person to the people around me. And if I can be a good person to the people around me, they can also once again thrive in life, hopefully, you know? And that way I can still make the world a better place. And this hat sometimes reminds me that it's nice to do well for yourself, but it's just so much better to help people that actually need it. And whether that's with money or just with being the person that you are trying to be every single day, that just fulfills me.
Love it, man.
Bit of a corny story, man. But
It is.
Let's go back to trading, guys.
One thing that has changed your life in a way, but also your trading life, is that you're now a business partner of Marnik, aka Tesla. And if people look at your content and explaining trades like a year and a half ago, roughly, there were no statistics in it, no lines at the New York opening, whatever kind of.
No.
You know, we as your followers see that
transition.
See that. How is that benefiting your game, and how is the search for it? Because it's not always hitting bullseye, so you have to learn to work with it. Where are you in that?
Oh, very good question. I've been using the data and statistics now for 13, 14 months, I think. So I would really now, I dare to call myself a master of the dashboard and the platform and the data and statistics and probabilities that it offers. And it has really transitioned my trading game, actually. And also just, once again, looking at the statistics of my system, my win rate approximately was like 54, 55%. It has increased to 66, 67% over the past 13, 14 months, where prior to that I was stuck at the 52, 55% range for like a year. Now, the in like market environments like we are currently seeing, the win rate is even higher. Obviously, there's also market circumstance where the win rate is slightly lower, but the data and statistics platform, BrighterData, has really, I wouldn't say reshaped my trading game, but what it has really helped me to do is filter out the low probability trades.
Right.
But there's so many times in a week where I would, for example, hit a really good setup from the low to the high on Monday or Tuesday, and then I would feel like that the price could be topping in the past, I'm talking about now. Then I would see like this reversal structure and would try to trade it back down again because I am a range trader at the end of the day. But for example, one of the things that the statistics are showcasing is that 86% of the weeks on Bitcoin form the high or the low of the week on Monday or Tuesday. Meaning that if you form a new high on Wednesday, for example, you form the low on Monday, that the weekly candle is likely going to expand higher on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it doesn't make any sense to trade reversals then on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday or Sunday, which I would be doing a lot in the past. Now, those small use cases, and as I said, really filtering out the low probability trades, which are still according to my system, they're A+ setups, but data and statistics are just against them rather than in favor of them. And I simply don't take those setups anymore. Even better, I probably trade continuations more often, which does not only help me to filter out the low probability setups, but also where I would usually get stopped out on the low probability reversal setups midweek or in the end of the week. I'm now
double-edged sword, yeah.
Exactly, it's a double-edged sword. So now I'm either adding margin to my position that is in that case already in profit, or let's say I was in a position. So what I often do, Monday I sit down and form a bias for the week, and I know, okay, 86% of the weeks on Bitcoin, but also on other assets in that case, around that percentage, form the high or the low of the week on Monday or Tuesday. Meaning that if I'm bullish, I'm trying to fill my long on Monday or Tuesday. And I'm trying to time the low on Monday or Tuesday. Meaning that if that goes well, then on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, when price curves back up, I'm trying to play the continuations higher. So I try to add margin to my position if price and structure also form a new invalidation. But like you said, it's a double-edged sword in that case, because usually we try to play the reversals. But now it's also so easy for myself to find the invalidation for my bullish or bearish thesis. Because if I was bullish on Monday morning and I get filled on my long, but then on Wednesday, price makes a new low to the downside, then statistics are heavily in favor, the more downside is likely for that week. So then I'm also, not always, but often, flipping my bias from bullish to bearish, and I try to still catch a continuation play to the downside on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, which can make up for the loss that I took prior to that. Sometimes I don't get a trigger, then I can't enter that bearish setup, of course, right?
Right.
But sometimes price gives a nice pullback midweek on Wednesday, then gives a clean reversal confirmation again for further continuation, and then I can still take that short. And that short, if the loss was a minus 1.5 R trade, and the short is a plus 2.5 R trade, then I still make profit overall for the week. Now, getting a little bit into the rabbit hole already here.
Yeah,
so
but that's what we heard.
We can do this in a
people
separate
listening
podcast
right
with Marnik, where we can really go in depth on this. But yeah, in that sense, once again, it has also really helped with my peace of mind. I'm so okay with being wrong, because when I'm wrong, I instantly see a next opportunity, actually. That's the way that I look at it.
But is this purely an addition to your system, or did you have to change your system?
No, my system and my triggers are still the exact same. So the way that I form my bias, I do include a little bit sometimes of weekly or monthly statistics. But the way that I form my bias is still the exact same. I just try to identify where the price is likely going to move towards next. My triggers are still the exact same. My invalidations are still based on my triggers.
Right.
So they're still the exact same. Structure and liquidity and ranges. And ranges are mainly meant for my bias, actually, not necessarily for my triggers. Sometimes when I trade deviations. But the system is still the exact same. I just know better when and towards what direction I have to execute that system. And also this, for example, really helped me with not taking profit too early or not taking profit too late, because the distance statistics really help me to figure out if price is already exhausted or not. So it's really an addition, yeah, but a massive addition. So it's not like an addition like the RSI indicator or open interest or CVD. It's incredible what the guy has built, and that is just zero credits to me. I'm just now helping him to build the business, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. But yeah, it's been a great addition.
Here's some mess in my mind with regards to statistics, because he has made a name for himself, and a lot of main statistics are flying around in the scene without people actually having access to the dashboard and the analysis themselves. So, to give you an example, last month I think the P1 and the P2 was close to the same day, or in a couple of first days of the month or something like that. And statistics were pointing out that it would still take the low. You're more into the data, but
I think Marnik made a tweet, right?
Yeah.
And he was expecting that low to get taken out because it was formed so early.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the end, he was right. It took out the low, but then he also tweeted, now statistics are pointing even further down, so it's likely or probable, all these lively texts from him, that we go even further down. That didn't happen. And I'm not blaming him. I'm sort of blaming myself from, trying to cherry pick a little bit from here, from there, and doing everything a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are doing that. And I think credits to you, is at least you dive very much into the rabbit hole to really own it and apply it in a good way. And I think that's, you either have to do it 100% or almost,
True. And
it.
Once again, I think it's something that comes with time and gathering data and statistics on your system. Because I've been there as well, where you were, letting your bias be influenced by so many different little things, And now I'm just at the stage where I'm like, preferably I would even just
fuck up. Yeah. See what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. So it's so difficult because there's just so much information out there these days for free, which everyone can access on X, YouTube, Discord communities, whatnot.
Right.
And that makes it a lot more difficult to turn yourself into a profitable trader. Because you know that I'm profitable and I'm handing out signals. So there's also a part in your brain that is probably like, why am I not just following Yip's signals and that's going to be it? And then you're like, nah, I just also want to build my own profitable trading system. So you're going to do both simultaneously. But that also means that if I'm going to long Bitcoin on Monday and you open up the charts as well on Monday, you were bearish, you're going to be like, holy, what am I going to do now? Am I going to copy a signal? Am I going to take my short? The one time you're going to take your short and my long is going to be right, you're going to be like, oh my days, I should have followed Yip. I'm going to follow Yip the next time. And the next time you follow my short.
he knows, we're onto it.
I know. Like it makes so much sense. And like, I can't blame you for it, but that is also why I'm really trying to put so much emphasis on the fact that it's so important that you just gather data and statistics on your own system, even if it's not a system just yet, but you're never going to develop that own system if you're going to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And
that's true.
Yep. Normally we have a guest and we have a quick question round, as you know. But I love to explain the rules once again. 5 questions, and the last one is yes or no.
Yes,
you can do this. We asked many guests this, but now do you have a hero?
Do I have a hero? Not really. If I would have to say so, probably my father. Just because he's just a big role model to me. Not a hero, but more so a role model.
Answer. Yeah, it's fine. All right, let's go to restaurants. What's your favorite restaurant in Amsterdam? But you can choose 2.
2.
1 a bit more expensive, and 1 less expensive.
Okay. The expensive one, without a doubt, Mr. Porter.
Mr. Porter.
The best steak in Amsterdam. You guys know that I love steak. And the cheaper one is like a takeaway place, Indonesian, Kokita. It's in the Old South. 12 euros. You get a massive plate. You can just choose whatever you want to add to the plate. You prepare it, you take it away. You can eat, even I can eat from it 2 days. It's ridiculous.
Great stuff.
That is ridiculous. Yeah. Okay, that's massive commercial.
Yeah.
Next one. What advice would you give us right now in the phase that we're in?
Start journaling. Yeah. Start gathering data and start gathering statistics. I honestly do feel like that's the next step for me.
We do it already, but you know,
really do it
without the little
a bit
lies.
Childish.
Yeah.
Version.
And that would probably be my best advice. try not to break any promises that you make to yourself anymore. I feel like breaking promises to other people is bad, but breaking promises to yourself is twice as bad. And it's so easy to break promises to yourself every single day. Everyone does it. But especially when it comes down to trading, try not to, please.
Yep, are you a trader or an entrepreneur in the crypto space?
Good question. I would consider myself more an entrepreneur these days. Also, just looking at my time. The time that I spend behind the charts must be below 1 hour a day, for sure. Live streaming. Probably, let's say I'm spending 1 hour a day behind the charts on average. I'm spending, I don't know how many hours trying to build cool stuff and just, I don't know, create content and whatnot. Probably like on average.
Well, here comes a boomer question.
Yeah.
We work for like 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
How many hours do you work combined? Trading, entrepreneur? Estimate.
7 days. Now I'm trying not to work too much anymore on the weekends. But there used to be times where I was literally just also working in the weekends every single day for way too many hours. And I would say that's, I have no idea, man. I never tracked it. I also don't think I want to track it.
And
a bit more than 40, I guess.
He's
working in Portugal.
Also, this is also super cliche.
We also travel for work.
But honestly, from the bottom of my heart, not a single minute, except when I'm doing accountancy, feels like work. Not a single minute. Driving here, sitting here with you guys, creating videos with my brother, or creating vlogs, or live streaming, one-on-one sessions with people, posting quality content on X, like figuring out how to build systems for the businesses, how to hire the right people. I love every single minute of it. So I say, I don't know. It's probably around maybe 70 hours. I have no idea. I honestly don't know. But it doesn't feel like work, except for accountancy. But I have a good accountant now. So I don't spend that many hours anymore for accountancy, but still every single minute, fucking...
Yeah, we know that feeling. We're ruining the quick question round, by the way.
True.
So yes or no, the last one. Bitcoin will see a drop of 70% in the next year and a half.
No.